Yes, yes. Has he actually cut himself? Yes, she is known. Just bringing up her details.
The call comes in and the police head out. It's an unpredictable job, but in the past, some things have been predictable. If they find a distressed black man or woman, up until now the police have been twice as likely to section them as if they were white. This must stop, the Home Secretary Theresa May tells Newsnight.
My ideal would be that somebody who's clearly got a mental health problem shouldn't be being detained in a police cell. The police cell is there as a place of last resort if there is absolutely nowhere else. Sadly, for too many, it's a place of first resort.
Romeo 2-1, please.
Sean Rigg, a schizophrenic, died at Brixton's police station in 2008. Restrained for several minutes, it was later found officers had used unsuitable force. These are horror stories for Black Britons, stopping some from admitting a mental health problem until they reach crisis point. Then there are the horror stats. New research done by the Home Office and given to Newsnight shows a quarter of health providers say more places of safety are needed to replace police cells. 3/4 of people that arrive at a place of safety do so in a police vehicle, and a half of all children sectioned are sent to a police cell. Black people are twice as likely to be sectioned. Here's Chief Inspector Sean Russell, called by police on the beat to the scene of a distressed young woman.
In essence, without the triage being involved, we may have detained her, we might have seen her as a perpetrator of violence, we might have seen her as a victim and actually not thought about the wider scope around what we're trying to deliver here. So there's a whole host of issues, and actually without understanding the mental ill health element of it, you miss a major part of the jigsaw.
In Birmingham, his triage team is doing things differently. Paramedics and mental health nurses follow police to the call.
We've dealt with over 2,000 people now since our pilot started, and we've only ever had to use force once. The first thing we do though is talk to the individual and treat them compassionately. That's a massive step change really, because actually, you know, they see us as individuals, not as necessarily the uniform. Because actually the uniform has at times an ability to make people grow in their distrust of services.
Birmingham's triage team are the pioneers, but some policemen are sceptical. We spoke to a policeman yesterday that said that if they see somebody on the street corner having a psychotic episode, that they will eventually want them to be in a cell, that they will want them dealt with correctly in their view.
A lot of police officers have been really concerned about this, and they've raised this with me consistently because they're concerned that they're not mental health professionals, and they're not mental health professionals, they're not social workers, they're police officers.
And it's intimidating for them as well.
It is. I mean, for them, making the right judgment about somebody in those circumstances, of course, is difficult, and that's why I think the street triage pilots that we've set up in 9 areas, a number of other police force areas, I think 17, have been setting up their own schemes as well, bringing in that mental health professional who can actually advise the police either physically alongside them or on the end of a phone.
The work that the Home Office is doing with Black Mental Health UK is groundbreaking, and we welcome it because no other government department has made this sort of commitment to the issues and concerns of black people who use mental health services. But what we really need to see is an end to practices like having police presence on ward, an end to the use of tasering of vulnerable people who need what we believe to be compassion and care when they're in crisis, not coercion and force.
12 years ago, Theresa May said the Tories were seen as the nasty party and that they needed to kill that image. Now black newspaper The Voice calls her someone they can do business with. Has she pulled the whole thing off?
I think in the past this is the sort of thing that people didn't naturally look to the Conservatives to do, but I would say that actually it's right bang in the centre of good Conservative social justice.
Tomorrow, police forces will be asked to be more transparent about who they section. And some will ask whether this government has the resources to fund a national rollout of the pilot it so clearly rates.